This isn't your father's Sliver deck, nope. Today's list is quite possibly the most ambitious deck I've ever filmed with. Imagine this, Sorin, Imperious Bloodlord, who has a knack for breaking the rules, teams up with Morophon, the shape-shifting superstar. Together, they pull off the ultimate heist, reducing the cost of our Sliver Lords to 0. Wait, nothing? You heard me right. The First Sliver will then lead the charge with a cascade of destruction until we find Cloudshredder Sliver, giving our troops wings to swoop in for the kill. Hold on to your butts, because today we're about to unleash some Sliver madness in Modern. This is quite possibly the craziest deck I've ever played. Gigantha has been revealed. Let's go. Clint Eastwood, what you got for us? We'll keep it. Opponent starts with a Stitcher Supplier. So this is probably Soul Trader. Draw a Verdant Catacombs. Let's just start with our Oath of Nissa here. We'll fetch Forest, Oath, and we'll take the Sorin. Phyrexian Tower, Kraken for 1, 18 life. Sack the Supplier to the tower, add 2 mana. Oculus and Kiora to the graveyard. Return the Oculus to play, we are on the clock. Thoughtseize us. Opponent takes our Sorin. Oculus is going to manifest, we're on a very quick clock. We draw Morophon. Morofang. Unfortunately, not casting that one anytime soon. Not exactly sure how we get out of this situation, but I think we're going to get our Dregscape down. Dregscape is into play. Opponent moves to combat, we're going to block, go down 12 life, and they send it on back our way. Manifest Dread, Spell Snare to the graveyard, draw into a cash grab. Let's start with that. We'll take the First Sliver. 4 card types in the graveyard, but we can't traverse and get a Sorin. Player Mortuary, Sliver Legion, we'll put that to the graveyard. Our opponent untaps, attacks for 7, puts us down to 5. Oculus Manifest, Emperor Bones to the graveyard. Draw Woodland. Not sure how this works, but we're going to try it. Woodland, copy Morophon. Unfortunately, it doesn't work the way I want it to. We'll scoop it up. We're going to bring in 2 Endurance, 2 Decay, and we're just going to cut a couple of 1-ofs. Take play. 7 seems fine, we'll keep it. Opponent keeps their 7. I'm going to start the Verdant, pass turn. Underground Mortuary, and they surveil a Haywire Might to the graveyard. We'll fetch. Surveil, trigger, Oath of Nissa. I'll put that to the graveyard. Find a Takenuma. Let's play out our Overgrown Tomb. Shock that in. Rumble. And I'm going to put Basic Forest to my hand. Opponent has an Overgrown Tomb. Supplier, trigger, Psychic Frog in the graveyard. Let's see if they have an Unearth. Nope, Spellbomb. This means we're going to get to resolve one of our rings. So we're going to start there. Ring. Everybody's favorite Modern card. Trigger. We'll draw a card, pass turn. Find another land. Undercity Soars. Card on top. Unearth Haywire Might. They're going to activate the Might, get rid of our ring. Ring is exiled. Draw a Sliver Legion. Play out the Beseiju. Another ring. Draw another card. Okay, we are a Sorin away from our combo. Psychic Frog, and they have an Underground Mortuary untapped. Ring trigger. 16 life. Found the Sorin. Let's draw 2. Another Sorin. Play Sorin. Minus Sorin. Morophon onto the battlefield. Name Sliver. Cast the First Sliver. Cascade. Cash grab. We'll put a Cloudshredder Sliver to our hand. First Sliver enters play. Sliver Legion. Cascade. And they scoop it up. Let's go. This is game 3. Unfortunately, 7-card hand we can't keep. Send it back. 6 is fine. We'll keep this and get rid of the Dregscape. They're on a 5-card hand. Pluto Delta. And that's it. Draw Misty. Let's start with our Mortuary. Forest, we can put that to the graveyard. Opponent fetches. Surveils. Grizzlebrand to the graveyard. Yikes. Marsh Flats. Fetch. Feels like a Goryo's Vengeance. Overgrown Tomb. Shock. And a Psychic Frog. We don't really have a good answer for that one. Back to us. Sorin's pretty good. Misty fetch. Forest. Cash grab. We'll take Morophon. Pass it back. They attack with their frog. Discard another Grizzlebrand. We'll take 2. Go to 17. They'll get to draw a card. Pluto Delta. 2 mana for a second frog. Fetch. And a Haywire Might. Alright, coast is clear. Untap. We draw an Oath. Play our Takenuma. Sorin. Minus Sorin, Morophon, name Sliver, and we should be able to go off next turn if we get the opportunity. Agatha's Soul Cauldron, that resolves. They eat a Grizzlebrand, we're going to respond with an Endurance. Shuffle their graveyard, And they didn't give their frogs flying in response, which is a bit of a mistake. Attacking everybody at Sorin will block the biggest frog. Kill Sorin, draw a card. Okay, and just an unearth, fortunately. Untap. Overgrown Tomb, start with a traverse. First Sliver, cast First Sliver, cascade. We'll traverse. I think we're gonna get a Sliver Legion. We'll cast a Sliver Legion, cascade. Malevolent Rumble, cast that. Take the Cloudshredder Sliver, Sliver Legion in play, cast the Cloudshredder, cascade, and our opponent scoops it up. This deck is sick. 1-0. Round 2, reveal that Gigantha. Opponent also has revealed a Gigantha. Can't keep this hand, we'll mulligan. Opponent is on Mardu Energy. This hand is a little on the slow side, we'll mulligan down to 5. Alright, can't go any lower, we'll keep the 5. Get rid of Takanuma and Dregscape. Hard Mesa, nothing else back our way. Alright, First Sliver is a good start. We'll start on a Mortuary Trigger. Oath of Nissa, I'll put it on top. Opponent fetches. Dreams of Steel and Oil. They'll get to exile our First Sliver. Arena of Glory, coming back to us. We draw the Oath, which we knew about. I think we're going to start with a fetch. Surveil, hope to put something into the graveyard. Morophon, we'll put it on top. 3 mana for a Flage. We'll take 3, go down to 16. Draw the Morophon. Oath of Nissa, trigger. We'll take a First Sliver. Forest, pass turn. Bloodstainmire, 3 mana. Probably a second Flage. Oh, just Gigantha to hand, okay. Okay, let's party. 1, 2, 3, Sorin, minus Sorin. Morophon into play. Name Sliver. Cast the First Sliver, cascade. We'll cast another Sorin. Keep the new one. First Sliver into play. We'll put a 1/1 counter on the Morophon. Pass turn back. Opponent fetches and surveils. Marsh flats to the graveyard. And opponent decides they've had enough. Wrap a game. We're going to bring in some removal and cut some of our slower cards. We'll keep our 7. Opponent, Godless Shrine, Guide of Souls. Draw Beseiju. We'll start with our Mortuary Trigger. Oath of Nissa, we'll put that to the graveyard. Sacred Foundry Shock, 2 mana Amped Raptor. Exile another Raptor. Gain some life, put it into play. Attack for 3. We're at 17. Found an Overgrown Tomb. We're going to play out our Beseiju, preserve our life. Rumble. And we'll take the Woodland. Back to our opponent. Start with Dreams of Steel and Oil. Can either take the Sliver or the Ring, I believe. They take the Ring. Attack with the team. We'll take it. Go down to 10. They play a land. Back to us. We draw another Cash Grab. So we're pretty close to dead at this point. We'll play the Cash Grab. Take the Morophon. And now we're a mana short of going off here. Play the Woodland and pass turn. Opponent fetches, end of turn. Surveils. And they keep a card on top. Discharge on the Raptor. 4 energy. Move to combat. Give a Raptor flying. We'll block one of the Raptors. Crack of food. Go up to 13. Go down to 6. They play a land. Gigantha to hand. Alright, let's go crazy. Sliver Legion's a good one. Sorin. Minus Sorin. Morophon into play. Name Sliver. First Sliver. Trigger. Oath of Nissa. Cast. Trigger. Take a Forest. Cast Sliver Legion. Trigger. Cloudshredder Sliver. Trigger. Traverse the Evenwald. Trigger. Hive Lord. Cast the Hive Lord. Trigger. Culling Ritual. Trigger. Actually wasn't a trigger there, but why not? Bunch of mana. Cash Grab. We'll take a Sorin. Cast the Sorin. Keep the new one. Oh, I blew up my Sliver. Oops. I'll give Morophon haste and all that good stuff. Play a land, and we'll pass turn. Yeah, I had the win. I probably should have just attacked. Put with a Shadowy Backstreet. Land to the graveyard. And they scoop it up. 2-0. This deck is crazy. Round 3. Let's go. Gigantha. Opponent also reveals a Gigantha. Surprise, surprise. 7 is really close. I think we're going to keep this. Start with the basic first. Oath of Nissa. Trigger. We'll take the Cloudshredder. Opponent with Sacred Foundry Shock. Ragavan. Alright, there's the Sorin. Should have the win next turn. Dregscape. Go. Opponent attacks for 2. We'll block. Marsh Flats. Fetch. Basic Plains. Guide of Souls. Into an Ocelot Pride. Don't think that's going to be good enough. Make a cat. Draw 1 ring. Verdant. Fetch. Get a basic Forest. Sorin. Minus Sorin. Morophon into play. We'll name Sliver. First Sliver. Cascade. Rumble. Cast. Hive Lord. We'll take that. First Sliver into play. Cast a Hive Lord. Cascade. One ring. We'll cast. Opponent scoops it up. Too bad, so sad. Basically gonna do the same thing I did last round. Bring in 3 Culling Rituals and a Force, cut some 1-ups. Unfortunately, I think this hand's just a little too slow. We'll mulligan. We're a Morophon off of winning with this hand, so we'll keep this. And we'll bottom a Dregscape. Arid Mesa, fetch, Sacred Foundry, Shock, and a Guide of Souls. We'll play out our Misty and pass turn. Flooded Strand, fetch. Opponent attacks for 1. We'll get into 19. They play into Johnny, make Cat, and I think we're going to hold off on fetching just in case there's a Blood Moon. Culling Ritual, not terrible. Play out a Twilight Mire and pass turn. Opponent with an Arid Mesa, fetch. Elegant Parlor, interesting. Keep a card on top. Amped Raptor to another Ajani, which means they'll flip the one that's in play. Trigger. They 0 the Ajani, hit us for 5, put us down to 14. Attack, give the Guide of Souls flying, and we're at 9 life. Alright, we're gonna fetch and surveil. Alright, let's put that on top. Untap. Land. I'd like to start my turn by casting a Sorin. I'd like to downtick my Sorin. Morophon into play. Let's name Sliver. First Sliver. Cascade. Dregscape Sliver. Cast. Unfortunately, that's where it stops for the turn. And now we are dead. We'll scoop it up. I'm going to shave one more Dregscape and bring in an Abrupt Decay. Take the play. 7. No black mana, no Sliver, but I still think we keep this. Start with a Woodland, pass turn. Opponent with a Sacred Foundry, Shock, Guide of Souls. Alright, found a Forest, which is not what we need. We'll play that out though. Opponent with an Aether Hub, trigger. Drannith Magistrate. Guide of Souls swings, down 19. Alright, there's our black source. We'll fetch. Basic Swamp, Sorin, minus Sorin, Morophon into play, and we'll name Sliver. There we go. Second Guide of Souls, trigger. 3 energy, play a mountain, Ocelot Pride, trigger, trigger. Galvanic Discharge the Morophon, which is fine. Attack, 1 at Sorin, 1 at me, go down 17. Make a cat, 2 more energy, back our way. Draw a Cloudshredder, so we can Sorin, Morophon, Cloudshredder, attack for 8, put them down to 16. I think that's fine. Sorin, minus, Morophon, Sliver, cast Cloudshredder, play another Woodland, and I could attack or I could just wait. I think I'm just gonna wait here. Done with Arena of Glory, Flage, sure. Trigger Flage, hit the Cloudshredder, it's gonna take us off flying. Attack with Guide of Souls and Drannith Magistrate. Give the Magistrate flying. I'll block with the Morophon on Guide of Souls. I'm a little confused by this one. Sorin down. Make 2 cats, 2 more energy. Untap. First Sliver, so we can cast that for free. So we'll do that. Can't cast Culling Ritual, unfortunately. I need another card type in my graveyard to be able to copy the Cloudshredder, but I think we're going to attack in with the Morophon. Opponent blocks with a cat, 2 mana for a Raptor. Found a Ragavan, cast that, trigger the guides, they attack, counters on the cat. We're at 11, trigger the Ocelot Pride, 2 more cats, 2 more energy, back our way. Another First Sliver, which doesn't really do anything. And unfortunately, we're just dead on the crackbat. We'll scoop it up. Alright, round 4. Let's get it back. Gigantha, revealed. 7 is close. I think we're going to keep this. Opponent with the Gemstone Caverns. Exile Karplusan Forest. So this is some sort of Eldrazi variant. We'll start with our Mortuary. Forest, I think we can put that to the graveyard. Eldrazi Temple and a Talisman. Found another Mortuary. So I can Oath, looking for a Morophon, then try to kill next turn. Trigger. Dregscape or Beseiju. Let's take the Beseiju. Mortuary. Dregscape to the graveyard. Pass turn. Opponent with a Temple and probably a Ring. There it is. They draw a card. Back our way. Find a Traverse. We'll start with a Forest. 1, 2. Rumble. We'll take a 1 ring and pass turn back. Ring triggers. Opponent's down 19. Draw 2. Could just be dead. Opponent with another Temple. 7 mana. Sowing Myco Spawn. 1 floating. Blow up our Mortuary. Okay, Mortuary's gone. Ancient Stirrings. Kozilek's Command. Going to hand. 1 mana floating. Draw Verdant Catacombs. So here I think we're forced to 1 ring. Fetch. We'll get a Swamp. 4 mana. Ring. Trigger. Draw a card. Found another Oath. Send it back. Opponent draws 3. 9 in hand. Plays a Forest. Oh, just a hard cast an Ulamog. That's one way to do it. Ring trigger, draw a cash grab. Let's start by drawing 2. Ring traverse, so I can try to go for the kill this turn. Oath, looking for a Morophon, or I can just play another ring. I think we have to go for the win here. Another oath, keep one of them. We see Takanuma and Sorin. That's not going to be good enough. I will take the Takanuma. We're going to scoop it up. We're going to bring in Land Destruction, Artifact Enchantment Hate, and pull a bunch of cards that aren't particularly strong against their strategy. Take the play. This hand is really close. We're going to try it. Opponent starts Gemstone Caverns like they did last game. Labyrinth in exile. We'll start with our Mortuary. Sliver to the graveyard. Opponent with a second Ugin's Labyrinth. All is dust in exile. Talisman. Could be dead next turn. An Ancient Stirrings. You find a Kozilek's Command. Untap. Found a Rumble. I'll play a Swamp, and we're going to fire off that Rumble. We'll take a 1 ring, back their way. Eldrazi Temple. We know one of the cards in their hand is a Kozilek's Command. Okay, they do nothing. Found a Verdant Catacombs. I think we're going to go for the ring this turn and then try to kill them next turn. Start with a basic. 1 ring, trigger, draw a card, Takanuma, pass turn. And they're going to Kozilek's Command for 4 before going back to their turn. 1 top, 3 bottom. They play out a cavern, name Eldrazi. 4 mana for a ring, which is annoying. Draw a card. Now back to us. Ring trigger, we're down to 18. Draw Break the Ice so we can hit their Labyrinth. Draw 2. Temple Garden, First Sliver. We'll start with an Oath. Don't really want any of these cards. We'll take the Forest. Blow up their Labyrinth. Temple Garden tapped. Okay, they just move back to their turn. Untap. Down to 18. Draw for turn. Draw 2 off the ring. 6 in hand. 5 mana. This is going to be a Through the Breach. That's going to be an Ulamog, which is a 14/14 with Annihilator 7. We'll sacrifice all of our permanents. Remember, friends, Modern is fun. Let's scoop it up. And for our 5th and final round, we're on the play. Let's see if we can end this on a high note. Reveal our Gigantha. I think we can do better than this. I'm going to mulligan. We'll keep this one. First Sliver to the bottom. Mortuary trigger. Another Rumble. We'll put that one to the graveyard. Opponent with the basic plains and Ocelot Pride. Surprise, surprise. Draw into a ring. We'll play at our woodland. And we'll Rumble with the hope of ring next turn. We'll take Verdant Catacombs. Opponent starts with an attack. We're going to take 1. Go down to 19. They're up to 21. Flagstones into a White Orchid Phantom. Trigger. Hit our woodland. We'll get a basic forest. Alright, they make a cat. And we'll untap. Basic Swamp is our draw step. Let's play that. 4 mana, 1 ring. Trigger. Protection, and we'll draw a card. Find an Overgrown Tomb. We'll send it on back. Windswept Heath. A fetch. Basic Forest. See if this is a birthing ritual. And it is. Trigger the ritual. Sack the cat. And get a Guide of Souls. We'll trigger the ring. Go down to 18. Find a Traverse. 4 card types. So we're a Sorin off of winning the game here. Let's draw 2. You find Dregscape and a Verdant. Play land. Play the Dregscape. And then we're going to cash grab end of their turn. Oh, we can actually unearth the First Sliver. Let's try that. Forest. Change of plans. First Sliver. Oh, it doesn't actually have cascade when you unearth it. Okay, that's fine. Attack for 7. Opponent with a Solitude. Discarding Witch Enchanter. We'll trigger the Guide of Souls. They'll gain a life. We'll gain 7. And then they're going to ephemerate their Solitude. That's fine. We'll go up to 26. Ephemerate comes off of Suspend. Ephemerate rebounds. No targets, I imagine. Or maybe the White Orchid. Okay, they're going to ephemerate the White Orchid. Triggers Guide of Souls. Hit their Flagstones. Plains into play. Lush Portico into play. Surveil. Guide of Souls to the graveyard. Temple Garden. Shock it in. City's Blessing. Eternal Witness. Probably get back the Ephemerate. And they do. Ephemerate's in hand. Attack with the team. Hit us for 7. Put us down 19. They're up to 28. Trigger Birthing Ritual. Trigger Ocelot Pride. 2 cats. Sack the White Orchid. Get a Skyclave Apparition to hit our 1 ring. That's pretty good. Untap. Another cash grab. I don't think that's going to be good enough because we need 2 cards. But we'll start there. Cash grab. We'll take the Dregscape or the Morophon. Overgrown Tomb tapped. And we'll just pass it back. We know opponent has an Ephemerate in hand, which is pretty good against what we're trying to do here. Opponent attacks with the team. Gives the Guide of Souls flying. It's going to be 15. Down to 4. Ephemerate the Witness. Return the White Orchid Phantom. Cast the White Orchid. Hit the Mortuary. We'll add a mana. Forest into play. cast the cash grab, take the 1 ring, Ocelot Pride triggers, Birthing Ritual triggers, 2 cats, 2 life, sack the white orchid, and get a Ranger Captain, and they get another Guide of Souls. Untap, Ranger Captain, into an Oath of Nissa. Verdant Catacombs will fetch. Down to 3, Mortuary Surveil. Sorin is the card we wanted, unfortunately won't be able to cast that. I'll put it on top, I'm going to scoop it up. Okay, similar to what we were doing before, triple Calling Ritual, Abrupt Decay, Force of Despair, pull out some of our slower cards. Alright, game 2. I think I punted that first game. 7, a little slow mulligan. 6, if we can find a second land. This hand is gas, so we're going to keep it and get rid of... I think I'm going to get rid of the ritual. First, go. Flagstones, Guide of Souls. Calling Ritual, not going to do it, we'll pass turn. Windswept Teeth, Ocelot Pride, attack, we'll go down to 19. Cat, back to us. Dregscape Sliver, I'm going to scoop it up. While that league didn't finish out exactly how we wanted to, this deck was still a blast, and some of our losses might have been a byproduct of my inexperience. But nonetheless, I appreciate you tuning in. Let's open up a chest. I appreciate you tuning in today. Until next time, you know the deal. Be well, my friends.